overall title is Design Thinking, and the instructor that I had was Kristen Waits. She was an incredible instructor talking about how important it is to kind of have empathy-centered design thinking and how we can collaborate with others with empathy in our minds instead of like trying to focus on the next big thing. Because of that, that makes the whole streamline process easier, because if we're able to identify what their needs are instead of what they really want, we can have a better idea over what we should be doing throughout this whole process or whatever we're trying to aim to get to them. And the next step is where we define what the issue is and define what is our possible solution afterwards. And ideating is where we just spit out the most craziest ideas. What could we do? I remember we had a couple of engineering majors thinking, oh, we need to build like a thermos. That students that weren't engineering majors that were like, okay, that's crazy expensive. Maybe let's not do that. And I feel like the ideation process is very like, there's no limit. Any idea is a good idea. And then after kind of spitting out a bunch of ideas, it really brings us back down to earth and realize what is feasible, what is more like, what's more probable in this case. And after that step, the ideation phase, we went into the prototyping phase. Instead of having like a month to do it, we obviously couldn't come up with a physical prototype. So we drew out on CAD/CAM and like paper what our prototype should look like and kind of like function as. But our testing methods were kind of different than the typical like testing methods that you would have with a physical prototype, which was being open to feedback from our peers. So we presented to our entire class. In the design thinking process, it's very important to be able to accept and really digest what that feedback was or what your testing results came out to be, because if you just have the results and have the feedback but don't do anything to go back or further improve, then the whole empathize step really wasn't done properly. Because the whole process, you have empathy in mind. And if you don't at the end, then were you really empathetic? At first, when I showed up to class, I was like, design thinking, is this gonna be like a philosophy class or a psychology class? I don't know what this class is. I didn't really have a strong opinion in mind. I thought of it as like, oh, this is a regular class. But as soon as I like interacted and was able to see kind of Kristen at work and explaining and being very friendly and very open to us, I realized, okay, well, one, this is an honors class. This is gonna be obviously different. Throughout the semester, I've had a growth in understanding that design thinking is very valuable, because at first I knew nothing about it. I realized it's really not a traditional course. Like, there's a lot of getting up, moving around one side to the room, one side to the other room. We're on giant sticky notes writing down ideas. I thought, this is a really weird class, but I like it. I feel like design thinking, a lot of people are going to realize design thinking is incredibly valuable, because I was able to go to the SHEP National Conference back in November, and I was able to get an interview with Caterpillar, and during my interview, they were like, what's design thinking? And I was ecstatic. I was like, okay. And I was able to explain what that process was, how I implemented it in my projects and facilitator roles that I've had so far as a sophomore. And I feel like that really highlighted me as a candidate for their internship program, to the point that they really appreciated the fact that I've been strengthening my leadership skills in this course. And when they were able to tell me that and provide me an internship offer, I was so happy to tell Kristen. I told Kristen about it. She was very proud, and I'm very thankful for taking the course.